We are at the Glen Gould Studios, which I'm doing my recording in.
Okay.
Come on, let's get going. This way.
Mason. Fen looked up at her. Yeah? Duck. With speed that made him almost a blur, Fenris launched out of his crouch and whipped his own blade up in a diagonal arc toward her head. She saw it as a flash of lightning, and the air in the room went from heavy and electrically charged to vacuum light. Mason's own sword flashed up and across her body and parried Fen's strike with a screech, sliding off his blade as he sprang back and swept his rapier from side to side. He backed off a step, feinted, and then ran at her, striking with blinding speed, left shoulder, right shoulder, head cut, thrust for the heart, and Mason retreated, parrying for all she was worth, not even chancing a riposte that she could have, because she knew what he was expecting.
Whew. Okay, so I have now been in the recording studios at CBC here in Toronto doing the audiobook for Starling, which is my first book in a brand new trilogy, and I've been doing the audiobooks for them. I'm very excited about it. This is my fourth crack at it, and it doesn't get any easier.
Instead of retaliating, she allowed Fen to chase her almost all the way back across the room, and then, at the very last moment, she dropped her blade tip, beat past his guard, swooped under, and turned her rapier, hammering the flat of the blade against Fen's flank in what was supposed to deliver a nasty sting and get him to back off. In a competition saber bout, it would have scored her a point. In this case, it got her disarmed.
Basically, we work on the script pages two at a time, and I'll have them in front of me, and I will essentially do a performance of what's written on the page. So it means that I'm actually acting all the parts and I'm doing all the voices, although I'm not doing all the voices because, of course, I'm not a guy and I'm not an old guy or an old woman, or even, I'm not even Mason or Heather or Rory or Fenris or any of those characters. So what I try and do is actually try and do sort of an impression of the characters, or an idea of what they sort of sound like in my head, so that you're not actually hearing me try to be a man, or a god, or a Valkyrie, or a goddess, or even a high school student. What you're getting is you're sort of getting a performance of the characters as they kind of exist within this.
Then he advanced on her. The two swords crossed like scissor blades across Mason's breastbone. Ice blue eyes glittering, that maddening half-smile on his face, Fenris backed Mason across the floor until she found she could go no farther. Her shoulder blades flattened up against the rough surface of the room's long brick wall as Fenris leaned in toward her. "Well?" he asked, his lips close to her ear. She could feel his breath on her cheek, cool and steady. He wasn't even winded, while she was almost panting for breath. Jerk.
It's a lot of fun. It's very challenging. I find that after a day of recording, my brain is pretty much gone. I can't really form coherent sentences, kind of like right now. I can't. See what I mean? I can't speak very much because my throat's very tight, and I find that I get strange muscle twinges in different parts of my body because you're performing the entire thing, so the front of your chest kind of starts to hurt a little bit, and your knees lock up, and you get weird pain in your toes. Who knew, huh? Yeah.
"This is against the rules," Mason said between clenched teeth. "Yeah?" Out of the corner of her eye, she saw his grin widen, and he shrugged one shoulder, as if daring her to do something about it. "So?" "So," she said, "you're disqualified," and brought her knee up sharply. Fenris flinched, not quite as much as she would have liked, and Mason thrust him away, ducking around to grab her blade from his fist as she went. She lunged for the middle of the room, turning to face Fenris and expecting him to be spitting mad. But he wasn't angry. He was laughing, doubled over in pain, teeth bared in a frightening grimace, and laughing.
Voice recording. It's all about the toes.